From dusty fields in Lagos to mega arenas in Los Angeles, from rural kabaddi in Punjab to skate parks in Johannesburg, sport manifests in countless ways across the globe. And yet, only a few of these games are truly considered global. Football, basketball, maybe cricket. These sports transcend borders, commanding international attention, revenue, and influence. But what exactly makes a sport truly global? The answer lies not only in its popularity or simplicity, but also in the invisible structures of politics, economics, media influence, and cultural power. Love what you're watching. Scan the QR to join the community. To be global, a sport must be played, viewed, and institutionally supported across continents. This means widespread geographic participation, robust infrastructure, global governing bodies, and powerful media narratives. Volleyball, for instance, is one of the most played sports worldwide, yet it doesn't command the same global cultural capital as football. Meanwhile, American football, with billions of dollars in domestic investment, remains largely confined to the United States. The distinction is subtle but essential. A truly global sport isn't just played worldwide. It must also be seen, celebrated, and leveraged across the cultural and political spectrum. The mechanisms that enable such leverage are often overlooked or misunderstood, but they are key to understanding global sports as a social and political phenomenon. Football exemplifies this phenomenon. It is arguably the most global sport, with over 200 FIFA-affiliated countries and a worldwide fan base. Football's global rise wasn't accidental. During the era of British colonial expansion, the sport was exported along with railways, bureaucracy, and schooling systems. It became embedded in the social fabric of colonies, only to be reclaimed post-independence as a tool for national identity and unity. But its dominance goes beyond colonial roots. FIFA's organizational prowess, the massive appeal of the World Cup, and the strategic use of football for soft power and diplomacy have ensured the sport's top-tier global status. The sport also benefits from low barriers to entry. A ball and a flat space are often all that is needed to begin playing, making it universally accessible in a way many other sports are not. Contrast this with cricket, a sport equally entwined with colonial history, but less globally integrated. Revered in India, Pakistan, Australia, and parts of the Caribbean and England, cricket remains regional. Its earlier inaccessibility, due to complex rules and elitist traditions, hampered its spread. The introduction of formats like the Indian Premier League brought new life to the game, injecting it with commercial viability and a faster, flashier tempo. However, by then, football had already entrenched itself as the dominant global sport. Moreover, the governance structure of cricket, under the International Cricket Council, ICC, lacks the aggressive expansionism and narrative-driven global strategy of FIFA. Cricket storytelling is more parochial, and its lack of presence in major Western markets such as the United States limits its perceived universality. Basketball tells a different story, one rooted in American cultural imperialism and media dominance. While the sport originated in the United States, the NBA transformed basketball into a global phenomenon by exporting not just the game, but the lifestyle surrounding it. The league sells a compelling package of music, fashion, struggle, and success that resonates with audiences from Manila to Madrid. Star-driven narratives and global outreach programs, such as NBA Africa Academy, have embedded basketball into diverse cultures. The NBA's integration of digital media, social justice advocacy, and entertainment has extended its cultural footprint far beyond the court. Yet other American sports, like American football or baseball, have struggled to replicate this success internationally, largely due to complexity, insularity, or lack of global media appeal. The Olympics present a curated model of global sport. With participation from over 200 countries and dozens of disciplines, the Olympic Games appear to be the epitome of international sport. But scrutiny reveals an undercurrent of politics and economics influencing which sports are included. Skateboarding and breakdancing have made it to the Olympics due to youth appeal and market potential, while traditional yet globally popular sports like squash or netball remain sidelined. Decisions are often driven by lobbying, TV rights, and the economic allure of potential new audiences, rather than merit or tradition. Inclusion in the Olympics often means access to government funding and youth development support, creating a feedback loop that determines which sports will continue to thrive on an international level. At the heart of this ecosystem lies media power. Sports achieve global status through visibility. Global media giants such as ESPN, Sky Sports, and SuperSport act as gatekeepers. They determine which sports are broadcasted, which narratives are amplified, and which athletes become icons. African wrestling, Cambodian kickboxing, or traditional Indian sports rarely make it to international screens, not because they lack excitement or talent, but because they don't align with dominant commercial and cultural templates. Without media attention, sponsorships are hard to secure. Without sponsors, sports struggle to grow or even survive. The digital era has opened new platforms for visibility, such as YouTube and TikTok, but global media licensing and advertising structures still prioritize elite, Western-oriented sports. Sport is also an arena of soft power and geopolitics. Nations use sport to project influence and reshape narratives. Qatar's hosting of the 2022 FIFA World Cup wasn't just a sporting achievement. It was a political strategy aimed at global relevance. Similarly, Russia's 2018 World Cup and China's Sports Academy initiatives in Africa are examples of diplomacy through athletics. These efforts go beyond competition. They represent investments in perception, legitimacy, and future partnerships. Hosting international tournaments or funding development programs can yield soft power returns, strengthen bilateral relations, and position countries as cultural leaders. This is why sport, although seemingly apolitical, often becomes a site for both national pride and international contestation. And then there are the sports and athletes who remain invisible. Across Africa and Asia, traditional sports like lamb wrestling in Senegal or dambe boxing in Nigeria thrive locally but lack the infrastructure or media support to go international. These sports often carry cultural and historical significance, but their global isolation highlights how globalization can homogenize rather than diversify. Even within recognized global sports, disparities persist. Women's sports and events for athletes with disabilities receive only a fraction of the funding and exposure given to their male, able-bodied counterparts. Institutional neglect, gender bias, and commercial skepticism have kept these fields on the margins, despite growing interest and exceptional talent. The question of what makes a sport global is also intertwined with issues of identity, access, and equity. Who gets to define what is global? Who controls the images, the institutions, the investments? To make sport truly global, the stories and structures behind them must evolve. It's not enough to play a game. It must be organized, narrated, and marketed to the world. From funding grassroots movements to empowering underrepresented voices in sports media, from restructuring global governance to making visibility a right rather than a reward. True globality demands intention, equity, and investment. Building global sport should be about embracing difference, supporting innovation, and acknowledging the legitimacy of diverse traditions. A sport doesn't become global because it is inherently superior. It becomes global because systems are built to make it so. Behind every celebrated match lies a web of decisions about what we see, what we value, and who gets to be part of the game. The next frontier of global sport is not just about expanding the map, it's about rewriting the playbook. If the goal is to make sport a shared global language, then that language must speak to more than just markets. It must speak to people, cultures, and the human desire to belong. Scan the QR to join the community.